Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from Storytime Dad and says, am I the arsehole, 27 male, for asking my girlfriend, 26 female, to stop involving her imaginary friend, Tom, in our relationship. So, when I started dating Sarah, I thought I hit the jackpot. Smart, funny, and gorgeous. We've been together for about a year and everything seemed pretty normal. But recently, I discovered that she has an imaginary friend named Tom. I had no idea about Tom when we got together. At first, I thought she was just joking around when she'd say things like, Tom says you are funny, or Tom thinks we should order pizza. I laughed it off, assuming Tom was a goofy inside joke. But now it's like Tom's some kind of relationship therapist that I never hired. We were having a serious talk the other night and out of nowhere said, Tom thinks you're overreacting. I stared at her thinking, oh great, I'm getting double teamed by my girlfriend and her imaginary friend. So I finally asked her, can Tom maybe stay out of our conversations? Sarah looked crushed and told me Tom has been her rock for years. Now she's barely talking to me, and it's like Tom's got beef with me too. Am I the arsehole for asking her to keep Tom out of our relationship, or do I just need to make peace with my invisible rival? Gee whiz, that's trippy. Yeah, I'd be worried about that situation as well. I'm just trying to imagine it like a loved one or something starts saying this. And it gets to the point where they're explaining that Tom has been their rock for years. Yeah, I would be concerned about that as well. I'm worried if there's actually something deeper going on. And Rough Plum said something similar. They said, I'll be worried Tom is a persistent delusion. Like legitimately a mental health delusion. You're not the arsehole, but I was immediately concerned about Tom being a mental health issue. Opie says, I've thought about that and it's definitely a concern. She seems fully aware that Tom isn't real, but he plays a big role in her life. I'm trying to figure out the best way to approach this without making her feel judged or unsupported. Maybe a conversation about it could help us both understand where it's coming from. John Redcorn Massage says, not the arsehole. There's a possibility that she's suffering from severe delusions and needs a psychiatrist like yesterday. It's not necessarily dangerous, but it's certainly unpredictable. The more likely case is that she's always used him as a manipulation tactic. Any disagreement in your relationship will end up with you being ganged up on. Tom will always cast a tie-breaking vote. Spoiler, he'll always side with her. OP says, yeah, Tom's definitely the ultimate yes man. I swear he never disagrees with her. It's like I'm in a relationship with a built-in tiebreaker that I can never win. Maybe I should get my own imaginary friend for backup. Wonder if she'd let Jerry cast a vote. Lakashi says it could also be a response to childhood trauma. If she engaged with it privately and it helped her, I'd say no harm, no foul. But it is functionally impairing her life in the form of a romantic relationship. If you want to stay with her, engage her in a serious conversation about Tom, how he came around, what she was dealing with at the time, how he helps her now. Explain how it negatively impacts you, besides being weird, and ask if she would consider therapy to see if there's something else going on and see if there's a healthier way to manage Tom. Professional Face responded to that and says, this is what I was thinking too. A reaction to childhood trauma when she needed a protector and had no one. Tom shows up and Tom is here to stay until she manages to find a new coping strategy. I feel sorry for her, and for the OP too. If she is all that he believed her to be, I hope he is strong enough to help her through, if she had talked to him again. OP responds saying, thanks, I appreciate your perspective. I hadn't thought of it that way. And it makes a lot of sense that Tom could be tied to something she needed in the past. I'm definitely willing to support her and talk it through if it'll help. I just need to find a way to bring it up that doesn't make her feel judged or defensive. So OP came in with her update, which said Tom's origin story, and it's weirder than I expected. Alright, buckle up, because things just got even stranger. After reading all your comments, seriously, you guys are killing me with the give Tom a girlfriend and charge him rent suggestions. I decided it was finally time to have the talk with Sarah about Tom. So we're sitting there, and I gently bring up how Tom's presence in our relationship is, well, a bit much. She laughs at first and then suddenly gets this serious look and says, "Okay, I guess it's time I told you the truth about Tom." Now I'm thinking she's gonna say he's just a silly thing she made up as a kid. But no. She takes a deep breath and tells me that Tom wasn't just an imaginary friend. He was her boyfriend back in high school. Yep, you read that right. Apparently Tom was her ideal boyfriend during her teenage years when, in her words, real boys were just disappointments. She used to imagine him as this super supportive, hilarious guy who'd always take her side and hype her up. And somehow, even after she started dating actual people, Tom just stuck around. Now I'm sitting there thinking, great, I'm in a love triangle with an imaginary high school boyfriend. She reassures me that it's not like that now, but I can't help but wonder if I'm competing with the ultimate perfect boyfriend, who's literally too good to be true. So I guess I'll try to make peace with my invisible rival. But just so you know, if I ever hear her whisper, "Thanks Tom," under her breath again, I might actually lose it. When she was coming out with Tom wasn't just an imaginary friend, he was her boyfriend back in high school, I was expecting something to do with grieving, like losing her boyfriend back in school or something along those lines. But I just don't think that's the end of Opie's story on this one, simply because, Tom ain't gonna go nowhere, and you've been saying that if you ever hear her whisper "thanks Tom" under her breath again, you're gonna lose it, which I can't see changing anytime soon. Holy moly, what would you guys do in this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Society Tiny 784 and says, "Am I the arsehole for telling my sister she's not allowed to bring her homemade food to Thanksgiving because her cooking is ruining the meal? Every year, our family does a big Thanksgiving dinner, and we all typically bring a dish or two. My sister, who's a lovely person in every other way, insists on cooking something homemade every time. The issue? She's not a great cook. And I don't mean just not great, I mean she has somehow managed to turn classic dishes into borderline inedible creations. For context, last Thanksgiving she showed up with a special recipe stuffing that was over-seasoned with random spices like cinnamon and cardamom. It was dry and the flavors were confusing and totally off for stuffing. Only one person took a small bite and the rest went untouched. Another year she brought a green bean casserole that had some kind of strange, chewy texture. She later admitted that she used coconut milk and almond flour to experiment. No one wanted seconds of that either. This year, I'm hosting Thanksgiving. Since I'm responsible for putting it all together, I wanted to keep the menu consistent so that people could actually enjoy a cohesive meal. I thought I'd avoid drama by asking her to bring non-food items instead, like wine, soda, or even some flowers. I explained to her very kindly, I thought, that I just wanted to make things easy and streamlined and I'd handle the main dishes. But she didn't take it well. She got offended and told me I was being controlling and shutting her out of the family gathering. She then accused me of making her feel inadequate and said that Thanksgiving is about everyone contributing, not me deciding what's acceptable. I told her that everyone appreciates her effort, but that she could contribute in other ways and still be a part of it. She doubled down and said she's bringing her famous green bean casserole whether I like it or not. Now my mum and a couple of other family members have chimed in, saying I should just let her bring whatever she wants because it's Thanksgiving and it's the thought that counts. They're acting like I'm committing some huge offense by wanting the food to be enjoyable for everyone and not random experimental dishes that no one will eat. But I feel like I'm just trying to keep the meal enjoyable and frankly edible. I don't think it's wrong to want guests to actually enjoy the food, especially since I'm putting in a lot of effort to host. Am I being unreasonable here? Am I the arsehole? I don't know, I might have a bad take on this one because I kind of feel like there's more going on in the background of this, but in some ways you said she can bring non-food items, etc, etc. So you're pretty much happy with her bringing whatever as long as it's not food. So in some ways, you know no one's going to eat it. Just let her make the thing, chuck it on the table. If people don't touch it, they don't touch it, Kind of like in the end, what effect does it actually have on anyone if no one's going to eat it anyway? Drawn on Quarter says, be grateful you never had